Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's video, we're going to talk about relationships between more than two tables. We're going to add projects to the mix. So we've got customers and orders right now. We're going to say customers have projects, and then projects get assigned to orders for budgeting purposes. Today's question comes from Will in Everett, Washington, one of my Platinum members. Will says, in my business, we have customers. Customers have projects. Orders must be assigned to a project for budgeting purposes. I see in your invoicing database how you can assign an order to a customer, but how can I assign that to a project instead? I don't understand how I can then tell what customer the order belongs to. I'm confused. How can I get the customer ID into the order table if the order is assigned to a project? Okay, well, let's take a step back and examine how the database is set up. Okay, right now our Tech Help database has customers and orders. Each customer can have multiple orders. That's a one-to-many relationship. And each order has a customer ID, so we know who belongs to that order, right? Well, what you need to do is create an extra table in the middle there called a project table. So you've got customers, and each customer can have multiple projects, and then each project gets assigned multiple orders. So we'll actually take the customer ID off of the order table because we don't need it there, right? We just need a project ID. We can follow it backwards to find out who the customer is, right? It's called a reverse lookup. Okay, so the customer leads us to the project. The project leads us to the order. So our finished database will be customers, right? Open up a customer record. You'll see their projects. There's the projects for that customer. And then each project gets assigned orders. And there's an order from that project. So you get the project ID there now. If you need to know the customer ID, you just follow it backwards. Let me explain how all of this works. Now, before we get started, some of you might be wondering when you'd ever want to do this. Well, a lot of construction companies, general contractors, companies like that, they take on a large project, like building a particular office building, let's say, okay? And that project has a budget, $5 million, whatever it happens to be, okay? Then they will invoice for things for that particular project as those costs are accrued. So you might make an invoice one day for some materials, then for some labor, then for some whatever else, and it all gets posted toward that project, and all of those multiple projects belong to a customer, your general contractor client, okay? So that's why you might want to do this. But even if you don't do that kind of stuff, this type of relationship setup comes up all the time. Even in my database as it is right now, I do have a relationship set up between three tables. Can you guess which three they are? We've got the customer, we've got the orders, and then we've got the order details in the middle here, right? And if we look at that in a relationship setup, if we go up to Database Tools, Relationships, I don't spend a lot of time in this Global Relationships window. I got lots of reasons why, and I got a whole separate video on that. Go watch my relationships video if you want to learn more about that. But essentially what we've got here, if we add tables, right, we've got the customer, we've got the order, and we got the order details. Okay, so the order T is kind of like a junction between the two of those, right? Customer ID goes to customer ID here, and then the order ID relates to the order ID there. That's actually a three-way relationship. You don't need to store the customer ID in each order detail item, right? In each line item. We don't need it there because we can follow it back to find the customer. Same thing if we just add a fourth table in here, basically, which is the project, right? Customers get projects, projects have orders assigned to them, and orders have order detail items. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert the projects table right there and see how to work that into our database. All right, so I'm going to close this and say no to save changes. By the way, before we get started, if you haven't watched my invoicing video yet, go watch this. It's free. It's on my website. It's on my YouTube channel. There's a link down the bottom there. This video will explain how I built the database that we're going to work with right now. If you don't understand how this database is built, it might not be so easy to follow along with the rest of what I'm going to do today. That's how all learning is, right? You got to learn how to walk before you can run. You got to learn arithmetic before you can learn calculus. So go watch this if you haven't yet. And you can get a free copy of the database while you're there. And also, we're going to need a teeny tiny bit of VBA, just a little tiny bit, couple lines. So if you haven't done any VBA programming, go watch my intro to VBA video. It's only 20 minutes long. It teaches you all the basics. Okay? I'm going to show you what you need in today's video, but it'll be a great help to you if you go watch that first. All right, so let's start out by adding a projects table. Here we got customers, we got orders, we got order details. Let's add projects in there. So create, table design. Don't need that property sheet to be that big. Okay, so what do we need? We need a project ID, and then we need a customer ID, because each customer is assigned multiple projects. Now that's going to be a number of type long integer. That's my foreign key. Okay, watch the relationships video for more explanation about that. I'm also going to put in here a project code, because your client might give to you a project code for whatever they want to call it, and you have to maybe see it on their documents or whatever. You don't want to deal with your IDs, right? Because your IDs are just auto numbers. They're meaningless. So a project code might help you to identify the project. Or you could type in a description, whatever you want. And any other information you want about the project in here, such as the budget, you can put in this table. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, let's save this as project T, my project table. Primary key, yup. And let's go ahead and just close that. You could also index that project code if you want to make sure you don't get two project codes that are the same. That's all up to you. You can do that stuff. Okay, next let's make a project form so we can get a list of projects for each customer. Now, I've already got a continuous form right there. I'm going to copy and paste that guy. Control-C, Control-V, copy, paste. We'll call this project F. It'll be my project form. Where are you? Right there. Right-click, Design View. And this is where we'll put the project stuff. All right, first thing is to open up the form's properties, find the record source. Let's assign this to project T. All right, now we can add fields. I'm going to open this up just a tiny bit here. Let's add existing fields. Project ID and project code. We're going to just use customer ID as a combo box. I'm just going to bring these two things in over here, drop them like that. The only reason I keep these guys around is for some auto formatting. Watch this. Click, 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 because that's an ID, right? And then I'm going to go click, click, click to format those guys. All right. Takes off the borders, sets the background colors, all that stuff. Okay, so we've got the project ID there. We're going to put the customer here in a combo box, and then the project code can go over there. Oh, let's put the project code in front of it. I'll put the customer way over here. So I'll copy this thing. Sometimes I cheat. I go like this, and then I just go in here and hit the space bar. This works okay. I was doing this for a while. Let's put code in there. I was doing that for a while. And it's easy when you're setting up forms that you're not going to use much, but if you modify this and work with this and edit this form a lot, it becomes a bit of a pain. So it's really up to you whether you want to use that technique or not. All right, so I need a combo box over here to pick the customer. Where can I get a combo box that's got the customers in it? Oh, wait, I know. I've already built one, haven't I? It's on the order form. Look at that. There's a combo box right there that's got the customers in it. And if you don't remember how I built this, go back and watch the invoicing video. I'm just going to copy that, Control-C, come back over here, and then paste it in the detail section. Boop, there it is. Get rid of that label, delete, slide that over, and we'll stick it right there. Okay, project ID, project code, got the customer. Close that up, save it, close it, open it. Okay, all right. Let's put one in here. Let's pick a customer. Let's pick James Kirk, right? And his project code is NCC1701. Okay, and then let's put another project in for Jean-Luc Picard, and his is NCC1701. Guess what? Anybody? Anybody? D, of course. My Trekkies. Where are my Trekkies at? And then let's say Jim Kirk comes in again for another one, and this one is the NCC1701A, because he blew the other one up. All right, so let's close that. That's our project form. Now let's go to the customers real quick. Let's go to the customer form. And we don't need an orders button here anymore, because I don't want to go directly from customers to orders anymore. This is going to get replaced with projects. So let's delete this button. Goodbye. Okay. And now we're going to make a button to open up the projects form, but only show the projects for this customer. I got a video where I show this in great detail right here. It's open a form to a specific record. And if you've watched the invoicing video, I think this was a prerequisite for that one, so you should have seen this already. This is why I say you should watch the prerequisites. And the prerequisites might have prerequisites, so you got to start from the beginning. And this is why I have full courses, right? Beginner 1, 2, 3, 4, Expert 1, 2, 3, because I teach this stuff in the right order. When you're watching my tech help videos like this, you might have to go jump around to a bunch of different videos. That's what the full course is for, so you don't have to jump around. You can just watch stuff in order. Anyways, I'm going to grab a button. I'm going to drop it right here. I'm going to cancel the wizard, because I like to build these myself, and this is why I wanted you to have a little tiny bit of VBA under your belt, right? Projects. And we're going to call this the projects button. Project BTN, right? The projects button. Make sure it's at the same size as contacts. Okay. All right. Right click, build event. That'll bring up your code builder. Okay, here we are, projects button click. Now, one thing you could do is you could get rid of this order button click code. See, this is why I like to make sure we name our buttons. Alex beat me over the head for years to get me to name my buttons because I never named my buttons. Because you never referred a button code from anywhere else. So I didn't care if it was, command 42. But now it makes perfect sense here. I can see this was order button, which I just deleted the order button. And Access won't clean up the code. If you got objects and you delete you delete a button, for example, it doesn't automatically delete that source code. So you can come in here and clean that up now and delete that. Okay, now here's the template we need right there. Guess what? I'm going to copy that and paste it there. It's do command dot open form project F comma comma comma, and that's the where condition, where the customer ID on the project form equals the customer ID here. Save it, close it, close it. All right, let's open up James Kirk. Go to projects, and there we are. There's just James Kirk's projects. And if I go back to me, I think I have one, right? No, Jean-Luc Picard has one. Projects, there's his. See? Okay, now the default value of the combo box is set on the order form to be equal to whoever the open customer is. That's how we get that there for the next new one. Okay, so if Picard later brings in a Borg cube that he's working on, okay, you can see that's automatically defaulted in there. Okay, but now we have no way to get to the order form, right? So to get to the order form, we have to have a project selected. So let's put an order button down here on the bottom. It'll be basically the same thing. All right, design view, grab a button, drop it down here, cancel the wizard. Yeah, there's a command button wizard for it, but I don't like it. Orders. I like to write my code by hand. All right, and you get in the habit of it. You learn some stuff. All right, this is now our orders button. Order BTN. Yeah, I know I say orders button, but I like to keep all my command button names, my text box names, my field names, my table names. I try to keep everything singular. Even though the label says orders, and I might say it's the orders button when I'm talking, I like to keep this all singular. Why? Because it's just easier when you're coding. You don't have to stop and remember, oh, was it customers table or customer table? So I just keep everything singular in the code. That's how I do it. You don't have to, but you'll run into this problem eventually, and then you'll slap yourself and say, why didn't I listen to Rick? Okay. Right-click, build event. I know it's off the screen, but it says build event. You've seen that before. Ready? Do command, open form, order F, comma, comma, comma. Comma, 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 chameleon. Right? Where the project ID equals the project ID on this form. But wait a minute, you might be saying, there is no project ID on the order form yet. Well, yeah, we got to do that. We got to replace customer with project. But I just want to set the button up now. Save it. Close it. Let's see what happens. Click on a button. Boop. Okay, it's asking for project ID. Why? Enter parameter value. Why does it say enter parameter value? That's a common thing that gets posted in the forums. People email me all the time. If you see enter parameter value, that means Access has no idea what you're looking for. It can't find a field called project ID. 9 times out of 10, you spelled something wrong or it doesn't exist. In this case, it doesn't exist because we didn't put it there yet. This comes up so often. Guess what? Got a whole video about it. Go watch that. Okay, so we can cancel. And it will give us an error, but that's okay. All right. Close that. Close that. Close that. So let's go to our ordered table. And let's just kill what's in here. Let's get rid of this stuff. Delete all the order details first. Then the orders. Okay. And yeah, if you got existing data in there that you got to work around, it's a little more complicated. Basically, you'll have to add the project ID field and then use some append and update queries to move things around. That's a lot more complicated. If anyone wants to see how to do that, I got videos on it. Just let me know. You just got to move things around. It's easier if you build this into the database to begin with. Trust me. All right, so the order table, right-click Design View. We no longer need a customer ID. Now we want this to be the project ID. Okay, project ID. And I can do that because we deleted all the data. If you want to keep that field in there to hold on to your old data until you convert everything over, great. All right, save that. Now we have to go to our order form and replace this customer combo box with a project combo box. Okay, delete that. Go to my combo boxes right here. Drop that there. We're going to create a relational combo box. Relational combo box. Okay, again, if you took the invoicing video, then you've seen this. I'm going to get the values from another table of query, right? We're getting a list of projects from another table, from the project table, right? Next. Project table. Next. Bring over the project ID. Well, not all of them. My bad. Bring over the project ID, this guy, and the project code, that guy. We don't need the customer ID because we're not putting the customer ID in here, and we don't want to see the customer ID. Okay? But we need it in this table, but we don't want to see it over here. Okay, next. Do you want to sort these records? Yeah, sure. Let's sort by the project code. Next. That's what it's going to look like. Yeah, that's everybody's stuff. Don't worry about it. Next. We're going to save that value in what field? We want to pick a project and store it in the project ID of the order table. Okay, next. What label do you want? Project. And then finish. There's my combo box. I'm going to do some format painting. I'm going to click on this guy. Format painter. Click on that guy. And just to get that label colored. Slide you over just a wee bit. Come on. Come on. Where are you? There you go. Okay, right there. All right. There's my project ID. Okay. Save it. And you might want to put it in the tab order in the right spot, right? Tab order. Oh, it comes in as combo 14. First of all, let's fix that. Open this guy up. I hate that. I wish the wizard asked you what you want the name of it to be. Project combo. That's my thing. I like to end combo boxes in combo. Why? Because later on when you get into programming and VBA, you might want to know it's a combo box instead of just an ID field. So you can access the columns and stuff. Okay. Oh, and I was going to put it in the tab order in the right spot. Okay, grab you and move you right after description, right? Click and drag. Okay. Hit OK. Save it. Close it. Now our project form should work. Oh, I don't have any projects, do I? Let's go to the customer list. Go to Jean-Luc Picard. Go to projects. And let's see what we got here for NCC 1701D. Hit orders. There we go. Okay. Now, the default project isn't populating in there. That would be nice when we go to create a new order, right? I don't want to have to pick this every time. Okay. Right-click, Design View, open this guy up. And we're going to set the default value on the Data tab, right? Default value, where are you? Right down there. Equals Forms, Project F, Project ID. See, you get these little pop-ups. You kids nowadays are so spoiled. Back when I was learning Access, back in the 1930s, no, seriously, back in the 1990s, probably 92? No, 94, I think. Access version 2.0, 94. That's the first version I worked on. We didn't have these little pop-up helpers. You had to just know this or... yeah. So I used to keep Notepad up all the time with all my form names, my field names. Okay? This is getting a value from another open form. Got another video about that. If you don't know how to do that stuff, again, covered in the... There's the invoicing video right there. Today I feel like... who's that character? Oh, remember In Living Color from back in the 90s? Calhoun Tubbs by David Allen Greer. He'd be like, I wrote a song about it. You want to hear? Here it goes. That's how I feel today. Right? Oh, I have a video about this. If you want to see it, here's the link. I'll put a link to the Calhoun Tubbs video down below as well. All right, anyway, so close this, close it, save it, close it. All right, open it back up again. And let's go to here and click orders. And now we're ready. We got the order, we got the project already filled in for us. Okay, and I'm here to put a refit in, right? And what we got to put a refit in for? New phasers, and that's $20,000. And new photon launcher, and those are expensive. Those are $50,000. Okay. All right, close that. Now, if you want to make a list, an order list, you can do that too, just like I did with the projects, right? This could open up another form that's got a list of orders in it. Instead of just right now, it's just opening up the order form. To add a new one, you just hit the add new. Okay, upgrade, and Tribble cannon, Tribble cannon. Where do I come up with this stuff, right? So now this particular project has two orders. There's this one, and there's that one. Okay, see how that works though? Customers to projects to orders. Okay. Want to put in something for another customer? Well, let's go back to James Kirk. Okay, projects, and let's put one on the NCC 1701A project, right? And new ship, right? He blew up the old one, and so that's pretty pricey. I don't know, whatever. Okay, see how that works? Now, for your invoices, we also have to fix the printable invoices, the order invoice queue. Right, if we go into here and try to open up one of these and hit the invoice, okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's gonna be all wrong because this thing doesn't have the project information in it. All right, so let's close that, close that. Let's open up the order invoice queue. Now, the problem here is that the order invoice queue still has order T linked to customer T directly, and that relationship no longer exists. Now, we still need the customer T in here because we've got fields from the customer T on the invoice we need, first name, last name, and so on. So let's add the project table. Okay, add the project table, and let's just fix these relationships. Okay, so order no longer relates to customer T. So you see that one back there? This guy here, that relationship has to go bye-bye. Just like that. Okay? And if we rearrange these, it'll make more sense. So customer on the far left, project next to that, order next to that, order detail next to that. That's the way it should be lined up. Let me maximize this, make it easier to see. Okay, there's customers to projects to orders. I do them like this a little stepped. That way you can see that they're one's like kind of under the other one, like that. See? Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, customer, project, order detail queue, and the queries over here. Order ID is set right there, so it knows which one to open. Save it. Close it. Let's open it back up again. And let me change that because it's too big for that field. Let's just make it a little smaller. Okay, you just got a discount, Jimmy. All right. Invoice, and now it's correct. And if you want to add the project code over here for the client, you can. That's very easy to do. Design view, right? Maybe throw it right under here, right? Add existing fields. It's in the query now. So where is it? Order code or project code. Actually, I don't think we brought project code in. We'll have to add it. All right, close this. Go back to the query, design view. Usually, I only bring in the star from one table. All right, that's just a purpose. That's a general rule that I have. I don't like to bring in because then you have like then you get project T dot project ID and then order T dot project ID. It's the same field from two different tables. So I avoid that by not bringing in the stars from multiple tables. So just bring one of them in. Project ID. Oh, we already have project ID. We need the project code. Where are you? You delete. We need the project code, which is only right there. Now save it, close it, right click, oh, not that one, right click on this guy, design. Okay, now we can add the project code right there. And then we'll use a little format paint action, match that stuff up, slide it over, slide to the left. There it is. Oh, come on. I swear, the older I get, the more I hate these little minor adjustments. Okay. And boom. There we go. There's our project code. Whew. All right. Now, you ready for some bonus material? What's this you said? Bonus material? Okay, let's do it. So we got into this whole mess because of budgeting. Well, let's make a budgeting query. How about that? Let's make a query that shows the actual budget. So let's go back to our table, back to our project T, design view. Now, when we set up a project, each project gets a budget, and that will be currency. Okay, and this is so you can tell if your project is under budget, over budget, how much budget is left. Do we really need the gold-plated faucets in the Enterprise Lounge? I don't know, maybe. Or excuse me, gold is worthless in the future. It's latinum. Okay, so let's put some budgets in here. So let's say this budget is 500,000. This one is 125,000. This one is 300,000. And this one's 50 bucks. Okay, so each project has a budget. Now let's close this and let's build a query to show how much has been spent for each project. So for this query, we're going to add the customer. We need the project. We need the order. And we need the order detail queue. Why the order detail queue? Well, because the order detail queue has that extended price. It's basically the quantity times the unit price for each item, right? And if you took the invoicing video, you know that. Okay, so order detail queue, orders, projects, and why do I still have, this is still trying to link customer to project right there. I think, let me see here. Let's take a peek at our database tools relationships, and I'm going to add customer and order. And yeah, see that? Okay, so at one point, and this might come up. I'm glad this came up because I wasn't planning on this, but this is nice to see. Instead of deleting customer ID, I just renamed it to project ID. And at one point in the past, probably one of my past videos I was doing with you guys, I must have made a relationship between these two tables and it's stuck in the system. Okay, and since I just renamed this, right, that relationship is still there. So we need to make sure we delete this relationship here in the global relationships. Okay, save that, close it. And now it shouldn't do that again when you make a query. It shouldn't create that ad hoc relationship. Again, in my relationships video, I talk about this in more detail. Okay, so what do I want to see in this query? Well, I want the customer ID, first name, last name, just enough to identify the customer maybe. How about the project ID and the project code and the project's budget? Now, for the order, I don't need every order broken down, but I need all of the orders totals added up. Now, the order total is gathered up by adding up all the extended prices on one order. But if I don't bring in the order ID and just bring in the extended price, look what I get if I run this query now. Okay, there's every order and every extended price. Okay, now I can turn this into an aggregate query by putting the totals on. And then instead of grouping by this, I'm going to sum them up. Now if I run this query, look what I get. See? That's every invoice. There's multiple invoices for this project code, and they're all added up right there in sum of extended price. And in fact, let's rename that, instead of sum of extended price, let's call this spent, or amount spent, or whatever you want to call it, and we'll format it as currency. Sometimes when you put the aggregate query, the sum on there, it loses the format for you. So we'll go to properties, and we'll manually format that as currency right there. Okay, format that field as currency, save it, and okay, let's call this project budget Q. That's my project budget Q. And Q has nothing to do with Q. Okay, so there we go. There's our project. That's how much we spent. You can see this project is way over budget. Okay, and this one's coming in under. Now, I'm not seeing the other projects that are open because they don't have orders on them yet. If you want to make sure that you see them all, make sure that you set up outer joins here, right? Outer joins. Just make sure that you see all of those records, right? Show me all of the customers, whether or not they have projects. Show me all of the projects, whether or not they have orders, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. There you go. Okay. You might want to not see the customers that don't have projects, so we could probably make this one just an inner join. I just want to see just all the projects, the customers that have projects. There we go. Okay. And these guys here don't have any orders. Outer joins, by the way, got a separate video for it. You want to hear? Here it goes. All right, that's how we can see all of the projects, even if they're missing invoices. And if you want this to show up as a 0, well, we can do this. We can put NZ around this guy and go comma 0 like that. And now if I run it, you'll get zeros there. What's NZ? That's null to 0. That means if that value's null, make it 0. Guess what? Got a video for that one too. Go watch that. Okay. Now, do you want to have another column over here showing your overrun or amount left, whichever way you want to subtract it? Well, you can't put that in this query. Once you start aggregating like this, okay, then you lose the ability to do calculations here because this hasn't been figured out yet by the time this column generates, right? So you have to finish this query before you can now take these results and put them into another query to do calculations on those. You can't subtract spent from budget yet until this query is done generating. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention aggregate queries. Again, this is the reason why it's best to take my course in order. You have to jump around to a bunch of different videos. An aggregate query is where you can sum up values, take averages, find the largest, the smallest, that kind of stuff. So if you want to take like a customer and all of their orders and add all of their orders up and get a sum, and have all of those for every customer in a query, that's an aggregate query. A totals query, sometimes it's called. Okay, so now to find our budget overrun, we can feed this into another query. So let's create another query. Create query design. I'm going to bring in that query we just made, which is our project budget queue. And I'm going to bring in all the fields and make one new field right here, a calculated query field. And I'm going to make this called overrun : spent minus budget. Or you can go the other way and say the amount left is the budget minus spent. Whichever way, if your business generally goes over budget, then do it this way. If you generally have money left, do it the other way. All right, save this as project budget overrun Q. And now when you run it, there you go. There's your overrun. I kind of like having budget left. Let's do it the other way. Let's go remaining, and we'll do it budget minus spent. That looks better. There. That's how much of your budget is remaining. If it's negative here, that means you're over. Okay, so there's your budget. See how that works? And now you've got your orders summed up with your project, right? And the project can be linked back to the customer. So did you have fun? Have fun learning about budgets and orders and all that cool accounting stuff? Well, guess what? There's more for the members in the extended cut. We're going to do some more stuff. We're going to start by discussing when you might possibly want to actually store that customer ID in each order. There's a time, sometimes, once in a while. Depends on your use. Generally, you don't have to. I generally try not to store values that I can look up, but there are exceptions. Then we'll change the combo box on the order form so you only see projects for the current customer. All right, that'll be handy. Because right now, if I come in here and I go to a customer and then open up his projects and go to a project, and I go to add a new order, I can drop this down. I can see projects from everybody. You might want to limit this list a little bit and only show the projects for that customer. So we'll talk about how to do that. Then we're going to do an add new project button. Right? We're going to bring in that calculated stuff into the form so you can see it right here. Okay? But that makes this form uneditable, right? The record set's no longer updatable, so you have to make a button to add a new project. And this is all covered in the extended cut for the members. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut videos, and there's lots of them now, like 260 or so, I think. Gold members can download these databases, and you get access to the code vault, where all kinds of cool VB code is. Plus, members get one free class each month as well from my regular classes, so you can take them in order and learn the right way. All right, hope you learned something. We'll see you next time. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you finish the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.